Why, hello everyone. Welcome to Redneck Ways. How's everybody out there in YouTube land? I hope everybody's safe, fine, and dandy. Not doing too awful bad, guys, here in old Kentucky. It's Sunday evening, guys, and there's a lot of stuff in the news right now about these drones and all this crazy stuff. And, it makes a person start thinking about what in the world is going on. And, we've came a long way, baby. We sure have. What you're looking at right now is some of the first electric I can't even say it, communications that they was back in the day. This is what started everything. This was your telegraph. And all this stuff, like we're seeing in the news right now about drones, started with a spark. One little spark, a spark gap. So, yeah. So I'm going to give you a little example of how things started. And now we got flying UFOs out in the sky. So let me get y'all guys over here on the table. Look at this one little thing. Alrighty, guys. This is what you would call a spark gap. This is one that I just built with the old chicken noodle soup can right there on the top. And all it is we've got a coil, and when we put the negative and positive, and I hit the positive, it makes this turn a magnet, and it magnetizes up here on the very top of the lid up here, and then it'll put a spark in between here, and that is how they first started communications back in the day. We started doing Morse code. So let me get this plugged up, hooked up, and I'll show you the spark. Alright, guys, here's spark gap. Come on, cooperate now. Let me pull back a little bit. Anyway, guys, I'm having little problems with my spark gap, as you can see. I don't know if the battery's getting weak. Well, what? I think it is a weak battery. But hopefully you get the gist of it. I like to get the buzz one good time. Just ain't wanting to. It's trying. But anyway, that's how things started. And then along came a cat whisker, and I'll show you one of those right now. And that was the beginning of communication radio. That's when we started getting our radios in our houses. Was people was building their own radios, because back then radios was really expensive, and so people was building their own in their house, and they was using cat whiskers and using long wires for antenna, and they was using whatever they can get their hands on to make them a radio. And then, this is how crazy, guys, this is all happening. Now, I showed you this, how primitive this is. And then there's the cat whisker. And then there went about 30 years, I say. Well, maybe not 30. I say about 15 to 20 years that, you know, people was using the cat whisker. I have to look at, maybe it wasn't so long, but it did take a while that people was using cat whiskers and stuff and everything. And then a feller came along, and he made the germanium diode, which germanium diodes made the signal go in to the radio, but you know, it couldn't come back out. So it was only a one-way ticket, one directional way. It went in, and that's it. It didn't come back. So that took place of the cat whisker. And then after the cat whisker was gone, and all that, and that's when the next step came along, guys. They thought, well, since we made the cat whisker, they kept on, and then they got one of these. They made a tube. Made a tube radio. And now, I know this went along. They had this in technology for 20 some years before technology moved. So this is what all electronics, all the radios, everything ran on, was these vacuum tubes. And there was all different types. These are actually the newer ones. These came out later. These were some of the last tubes made, but here's some of the first tubes. Here is one of the first tubes. Kind of looks like just a regular light bulb. This one was right there. I mean, there was some that was older than this, of course, but this is one of the oldest ones I have. This is 1920s, and they only had a couple little things they could do. And then after this one, get back in this little socket. After that one came along, these came along. This type of tube. And things was getting exciting, because it wasn't too long after that, these little tiny ones I showed you, these little small ones came next. And they had them for battery. You can have low voltage tubes, high voltage tubes, anything you needed. And then the jump went again. So we had the cat whisker, then we had the germanium diode, and then we had some time period in between there. And then we jumped to the tubes. So we was really cooking in. I mean, and you got to think of all the neon and stuff in between this too. We had those beautiful neon lights in Vegas and everything. Everything was just beautiful. Electricity pumping out. So we was doing really, really good. We had these tubes and everything. And, you know, how in the world our first space, our rockets made it to space, to the moon, is crazy, because I want to show you what they had. So after the tubes came these. These are super important. The transistors. These were like, they put us ahead hundreds of years from the tube. You see how much difference, how much size, so you can start making smaller and smaller things. Crazy, right? So this is what was in our first rockets. This is actually a Russian transistor called a hat transistor. And this here was like a rocket itself. It took our technology and it exploded it. So we had these transistors for just probably about 6, maybe 10 years. We was making things out of those little transistors like that. And then even the transistors started getting smaller. This one is a up to date one. It's a 2N22. It's one of the popular ones. It's in a lot of things, amplifiers. So now we're cooking, and these came out, just kept getting better and better all the way up to today, till what we got now, and I'm gonna get ready to show you that. All right, guys, I got some circuit boards like right here, guys. This is what was on the first rocket or spaceship that went to the moon. This is what we had. You can see it has some of these hat transistors. That's a circuit panel. All these resistors. Look at all these little lots. Those are all little vacuum tubes. And then this is a 1970s circuit board. Not much has changed. Bring this one back into the light a little bit. Show you. See all these little lots, resistors, all these transistors. This is 1940s, 1950s technology. This is a circuit board from the 70s. Still got a couple of these little cap transistors. And now this is kind of like what we got in just about everything now that you can just buy at Walmart. Check this out. I can't even see the transistors in here. Can you focus? Focus, is it? I'm trying to focus on my hand. See if it'll focus now with my hand on in there. I don't know why my phone won't focus fast. But you can see what I'm talking about. It's so small, I can't even get the camera to focus. And on this little thing here, it's probably 100 of these. Maybe more. I say this has probably about 100 times more capability than this. So crazy. And things are even smaller that we don't even know, because like our government, you know, if we got this stuff, what they got. So that's why I was wanting to make this video about, guys, about the, you know, we see these drones and everything, and a lot of technology going on. They got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff today's getting really scary. You got AI just coming into the picture. I mean, it's scary. It all started with a little spark. And man's getting smarter for sure. But it's going to be hard to you know, see through the lies that, because you can, technology is a beautiful thing, and you know, if it's used right, it's great. But you know, anything can be turned evil, and you know, try to pull the wool over people's eyes. So I think, you know, our government's got some really cool stuff that they're probably showing off right now. And hopefully, you know, they just will not try to kill us. That's what I worry about. You hear some of these drones supposedly spraying stuff and stuff like that. I hope that's all hearsay. Because we don't need nothing like that. Alright, guys. I just wanted to make this little video, show you some differences of how the technology has changed. And, I mean, we are definitely getting smarter as we go. And where's the stopping point? that's where we got to stop and think. When do we say, okay, enough's enough? Because that's why, like AI, I think we're going way, way, way too fast with AI. We don't know what its capabilities are. We don't know what in the world's going to turn out in the future with it. It's just, and it acts like it seems like a lot of these people just don't care. They're just pushing on, like, oh well, if it destroys humanity, oh well. And we're supposed to be making this stuff to make our everyday life easier, not destroy us. All right, guys, enough of me on my soapbox. I hope everybody had a great Sunday, and until we meet again, I hope everybody has a great Monday, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.